What's up, my soldiers? Today I want to talk about from the time you leave MEPS to the time you arrive at basic training, and basically like your first day at basic training. Now if you're like me and you watch like a million videos on YouTube, you've probably seen videos before about like your first day at BMT. And I was just like you guys. I watched every video I could watch about your first day because that's the day I was most nervous about. But it's all pretty much the same. It all kind of goes the same way. It's pretty much the same process for everybody. I'll tell you guys my own personal experience. I basically spent the whole day at MEPS from like 5 in the morning until like sometime around like 1-ish. Your last day at MEPS, you're pretty much just going to be doing out processing, and you're going to be getting your orders, which is a sheet of paper that tells you from the military, report to San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base. Now when you're at MEPS, they're going to give you like a yellow like folder kind of. Everyone who goes to BMT has the same yellow folder. You're going to sign some paperwork, you're going to sign a contract, and it's basically going to have like all your information in it. Just make sure you keep track of that. So after we were done swearing in, like right after we were done, we basically just turned around and we just like ran out of the door. We got into a van, they shut the doors, and then off we left from the MEP station to the airport. The whole time, I mean, I wasn't really that nervous. I was kind of just sitting there like just you know, thinking about different stuff, listening to music, trying to keep my little group together, and just I got on the plane and enjoyed the flight. We landed in Texas, got off the plane, and there was like 50 other people who had gotten off other planes, and we're all just kind of standing around. So we all walked together. It was maybe around like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. Because I only had like one bag, you don't really go to baggage claim or anything. You just go straight downstairs, and there's like this big open area where usually you would get like your ticket and stuff if you're coming in the airport. And there was 2 security forces guys behind like a podium, and they were just like, all right, well, come this way, give us your ID, we'll scratch you off the list and sit behind us. So we did that, and me knowing the military, I know that you're not really supposed to talk or anything, so I sat down and I was all quiet in the front. I wanted to be the first one on the bus so that way I could be the first one off the bus, but I messed that up. I'll talk about it later. So I'm sitting there and I'm in a straight line. I got my bag like to the side, like kind of just waiting for the whatever to happen next. So an MTI comes up and she walks into the terminal and everyone gets quiet. They're like, oh shit. So once everybody sees the MTI, everybody shuts up, and she says, everybody get up, get in a straight line, get on the bus. And that was it. Everybody got up, got in a straight line, we all headed out, got on the bus. And since I was in the front, I was the first on the bus, so I was the last. I was all the way in the back. But I wanted to be in the front because I knew I wanted to be a leader, so I wanted to sit in the front if that would have helped me at all. The bus driver was real cool. The MTI wasn't on the bus. I guess she drove in her own car, but it was just us. On the way riding into BMT, it was like maybe like 7:30 at night. Driving through San Antonio at night, it's like all the lights, and it was real quiet. It was real, everybody was kind of just like chilling, just kind of just like, everybody has that vibe like, we're going to BMT, like it's about to get real. So we pull up at the gates. The bus driver pulls through the gates, and I don't know what it is, but there's nobody on base. There's no cars, there's nobody walking, there's no lights on. It's just dark, and you're just like rolling through. I swear the bus driver drove around that block about 17 times. Like it felt like we were driving for a minute around base. But I know once I had graduated that we only went like 4 blocks. So I'm pretty sure he went around the block a few times. As we're going around the block, the bus driver's like giving us the best speech ever. He's like, listen up. And he like cuts off the radio. And he says, those MTIs are going to break you down. They're going to try to make you feel like dirt. Don't let them make you feel like dirt. You be the best. And he went on about how we got to be the best. We got to make the most out of BMT, and we got to do our best. And I felt like pretty motivated. He said it way better, but he was just telling us about like his job and how he just loves carting people into the Air Force. That's his job. So finally we pull up to this building. It's a dark building, some stairs leading up to the front, and there's an MTI sitting in the middle of the sidewalk. So the MTI walks up to the bus, the door's open, she walks up the stairs, and she tells everybody get off the bus. So we all get up and get off the bus. The first building you go into isn't going to be your squadron building. It's not where you're going to actually do training. So here's like kind of like a depot for all the people who are coming into BMT. It's not a whole lot of yelling. It's not a whole lot of like hipping and hollering. It's like basically they're just trying to give you all the basic things that you need for BMT. So when you go in, that yellow folder that you've been carrying for like 12 hours, you're going to put that on the table. You're gonna go upstairs, you're gonna go into a small room with a bunch of chairs. Then you're gonna sit down and you're gonna go through your bag. It's gonna be like a little mesh bag that you're gonna use to wash your clothes in. And inside the bag is like your BMTSG, which is your study guide for BMT. And then there's like a lock. You're gonna get a towel, just like a bunch of like random like little things that you need. So then you're gonna take off your shoes and you're gonna walk around into another room. And here you're gonna like do like this weird foot scan thing, and then you're gonna get like something printed out, and on the paper it's gonna tell you basically like what type of shoes you're supposed to wear. And then you're gonna get a parka, which is just your ABU jacket. You're not gonna get any other parts of your uniform yet, and that's pretty much it. Like you're pretty much just getting like some basic things. Now at this point it's about like 9 o'clock. I suggest that you eat on your way to MEPS because you're not gonna eat until like 9-10 o'clock at night. After you do all your in processing, it's gonna be like 9 o'clock. You're gonna be kind of hungry, so they're gonna take you downstairs. And they're gonna give you your first box nasty in the Air Force. Now, here's what a box nasty is. It's something that you have to understand in the Air Force, what a box nasty. So it's like a cardboard frozen box that they have thawed out for like a day or two, and has Oreos, mayonnaise, like a nasty sandwich, mustard, pretzels, and an apple juice. So this is basically your meal for like, that's supposed to like last you through the night basically. Here's a tip about the box nasties. Don't eat the mayonnaise. When you get to BMT, I suggest you open it up because it's an experience. Somebody's going to open it up who hasn't seen this video, and they're going to be disgusted about the contents in that mayonnaise packet. But open it up if you want to. So after we eat our box nasties, we get sorted into our flights. Unknowingly, we get sorted into our flights. So they'll call us out name by name until there's 50 people, and then they'll say, okay, you're this flight. Have a nice day. You're gonna leave, you're gonna get on another bus. You're gonna go on the bus, you're gonna drive again through like the dark, creepy streets of Lackland Air Force Base, and you're gonna pull up right next to your training squadron. And you're gonna pull up right next to your training squadron. Now, this is probably the scariest part of BMT for me. Because so far, you know, I've been going through, I've been like, oh, you know, this ain't no big deal. I've just been going through and I've watched so many videos, and I pull up to that squadron and I see 3 silhouettes of MTIs in the distance. And the only thing you can see is like the light behind them, and you can see like their hat, and it's like, okay, all right, yep, okay, it's real here. Here we go, here we go, here we go. And so there's gonna be 5 yellow dots. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 1 on top. There's gonna be 1 person on each dot, and then there's gonna be 4 lines behind them. So we lined up on the dots, and our MTI was like, drop your bags. Because I've seen so many YouTube videos about BMT, I already knew they're gonna say drop your bags, and everybody's gonna drop them. Then they're gonna say pick them back up. That's exactly what happened. They really need to come up with some new tricks for BMT. So they said drop your bags, we dropped them. We said drop them, not slam them. So we picked them back up. Then they said drop them, we dropped them. At that point, the MTI taught us how to like stand at attention. I already knew all that. So I was kind of just listening, just making sure I'm doing it right. Once they were teaching us the basics of drill and like our reporting statements and everything, it's called calling the files to the right. So remember those dots I was talking about? The dot all the way to the right is going to go forward. The guy on the 3rd dot is going to wait until the last person on the 4th element leaves. Then he's going to follow them. And then the 2nd element, and then the 1st element. So everybody's in a line, if you can imagine that. And then we went up into the dorms. Make sure you step on every step and hold the railing on the way up. I always hovered my hand like right above the railing, so that way I never touched it, because those railings are like really gross and I didn't want to get sick. So now everybody's like running around trying to find a bed. I'm in the middle of it, like just trying to look for an empty bunk. That's all I need. And in the distance next to the front door, I see there's an empty bunk. So I proceed to that bed and I stand next to it like everybody else. Then they told us to point next to the number on our wall locker. I knew this was going to happen because I watched all those BMT videos, and I knew this is like the same story for everybody. So you point at the number and you say the number. I turn around and look at my number, it's number 1. I'm like, oh, this can't be good. If my bed is number 1, I'm gonna get some serious crap for something. I don't know. I'm gonna be singled out. So I point at number 1, and I'm like, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1. Then they tell you to go to your bed and find the number on your bed, and then point to that number. And then you're gonna say that number a couple times, and then you're gonna go back and forth. After that, they kind of do like a little shakedown. So they're gonna like go through all your stuff. You're gonna dump out your bags. You're gonna like lay down everything in like certain little piles. It's like paperwork pile, clothes pile, electronics pile, something like that. After the shakedown, you're gonna pick up your phone, you're gonna call your parents. Just let them know that you're safe and that you're in good hands. You're not gonna have a whole lot of time to talk to anybody. You're only gonna get like 5 minutes maybe. After that, you're gonna spend the rest of the night training on just the basics of BMT, just the protocol. So we went into what's called the day room, which is just like a little room with like some couches and usually like a desk and a chalkboard or a whiteboard. The MTI is gonna be in the front. They're gonna be telling you about BMT. They're gonna tell you about the rules, the dining hall procedures, and like how to make your bed and like simple stuff like that. that. When we were sitting in there, they brought up dorm chiefs, element leaders, and chow runners. They're like, who wants to be a chow runner tomorrow for lunch? I was like, I'll do it. That kind of got the rock rolling about dorm chief and all that. From then on, I was chow runner and guidon bearer. And then on like the 5th or 6th day, they were like, okay, well, you're just gonna be dorm chief. Once we were done with that, it was like 2 in the morning. I was like really tired, but I was still running on adrenaline, so I was still pretty pumped up. Then we went back into the bays and we took showers. I'm pretty sure that's it. After showers, you go to bed. The next morning, you're gonna wake up and you're gonna go to chow hall for the first time. Now, eating lunch the next day is something else. That's something that I gotta talk about in another video, but I do talk about chow runner and how if you ever wanna be a chow runner or dorm chief, you can watch those videos on my YouTube channel. That was pretty much my experience for the first day at BMT. It wasn't too crazy. I wasn't really ever scared, you know. There were some people who were scared. There was one guy who left because he didn't want to do it no more. But for me, I had no problem. I watched videos on YouTube all the time. And so I knew what to expect when I got there. Unless they change things when they go to BMT now and they're doing crazy stuff, I wouldn't expect a whole lot. Like really, it's just you come through, you gotta absorb the rules, absorb what's going on, just adjust to the lifestyle very quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed my story. It wasn't crazy, but it was definitely the start of a pretty interesting 8 weeks. I'll tell you that much. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment box down below. Subscribe to my channel because I put up videos all the time. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.